Yo, what's up, Pisces? How are you guys doing? It is time for your April 2025 main monthly reading. April 2025, man. Clicking along. The time we've spent in 2025, all we got to do is that same thing 3 more times, pew, and it's over. Anywho, I do have a special announcement to make. Okay? So I got to babble just for a minute or two. I'll make it as quick as I can. Okay? I've added something new to my list of services. So, first of all, if you need a personal reading, the information on how to go about doing that is right down there in the description of this video. But I've added something new to it. Okay, so real quick, let me run through all the things that I offer right now in the current moment. It's subject to change. It changes all the time, and I keep you updated when and if it changes. But right now, I'm doing weekly live readings right here on this channel, $25. Pre-order anytime throughout the week. They're read every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time in the order of which they come in. The full personal readings that I do are the 24-hour readings only right now. And that's subject to change. I'll let you know if it does. I do one-on-one Zoom calls. And now I've added something new, something that people have been asking me about for 5 years now. I am now offering in-person readings. In person. Not a video call. If you're a local here in Las Vegas, or if you're visiting Vegas or passing through, or if you live nearby, you can schedule a date where you can meet up with me at my new office building, and we can hang out and I can read for you one-on-one in person. All the information for that is on my website, tarotwithrich.com, and the information is right down there in the description. All right, y'all, let's jump into this. Starting this off with your love interest. Single Pisces and the person that you're interested in. Now, this is not the past person, a person that you've already had a past history with, not a person you've been on and off with. We'll get to that one in a minute. This is just the person that you're interested in for whatever reason. Let's see what's happening in April. Pisces and their love interest. What's happening? Uh-oh, Temperance reversed. Could be a Sagittarius for some of you. Kind of feels like you're starting to get a little bit impatient. Getting a little bit impatient. Wondering where the hell this situation's going. Okay, well, we got that fucking eight of Wands reverse there. So, communication is fucking horrible here. Are you getting mixed signals from this person? That's kind of what this feels like. Mixed signals. Hot and cold, on and off, in and out, acting one way one day, another way another day. Just kind of feels like you're dealing with somebody that's kind of wishy-washy. And when it all comes down to it, it doesn't really seem like they give a shit. Doesn't seem like it. Not really. Okay, King of Cups reversed. This person kind of feels a little bit emotionally immature, honestly. A little bit. You're hanging in there. You're hanging in there, waiting for things to pick up, take off, and start moving. But it just feels like there's too much start-stop here. Too many mixed signals, too many mixed messages. Ooh, we got that Tower card there. So this is kind of hanging on by a thread. I think the tension is building and building and building and building. And I had to dig deep for this card. I had to dig real deep. So this might not be in the month of April, but if this energy between the two of you doesn't take a different track, this is coming. May or June, the tension's going to build to the point to where it finally pops and explodes. Let's see the signs I have on the table. I have Taurus, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Could be anybody, y'all. Those are just energies. Let's see how they feel about you at the deepest level. Pisces love interest. What are their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions? Truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions. Pisces love interest. Hangman reversed. Blue, de blue, buddy, blue. Well, there's the Tower card again. Okay, so the first thing that yells at me in this person's energy is I do not have one single cup in this person's energy. Not one. Not one. I have pentacles, wands, and swords, and major arcana. No cups. Telling me that I don't think this person has much room for an emotional connection. Honestly, it looks to me like this person is more worried about money than anything. Like what takes up more of this person's consciousness than anything is worrying about money. Seems like they're kind of materialistic. Now, there we go, King of Cups. Okay, that's a step in the right direction. So they do have some feelings for you, but their problems and issues with every other aspect of their life overrides their consciousness. Yeah, I think they are interested in settling down with you. But like I said, I think this person's a little bit emotionally immature. You may not realize that they're bottling up stress, fear, worry that you know nothing about. You know, I think this person's the type of person that for the most part likes to try to play it off and act like they got it all together. So that's the reason why all the mixed signals. Because they have too much unprocessed, bottled up bullshit. It's kind of like a cell phone that has so many fucking photos and videos that you can't even download an app. If this person has all these other fears and worry and nervousness and all this other anxiety, they can't process a connection with anyone else because there's too much shit going on in there. They don't have the bandwidth for it. You see what I'm saying? Okay, but I think they do want to settle down with you. They do. They just don't know how. They don't know how to cultivate an emotional connection. All right, well, let's get the advice. What's the advice for Pisces with the person that they're interested in? What's the advice? Blue, 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 buddy, blue. Ooh, 3 of Pentacles. Ace of Swords. Communication gonna have to improve, y'all. It's gonna have to. It's gonna have to. Pow. Yeah. Communication is gonna have to improve. And I know that sounds a little bit trivial. It's not, though. Now, I'm not saying communication is the end-all, be-all. What I'm saying is all it takes is one little issue like poor communication, and that can start a domino effect that creates all other kinds of issues and problems in all other areas and aspects of life. So, like I said, communication isn't the end-all, be-all, but that will lay the foundation for the two of you to be able to, build a successful empire and come together and actually have something successful. If communication doesn't improve, and again, I hate to sound general like that because in order for communication to improve, it takes 2 people working on that. But if it doesn't, oh man, I don't think this will make it through Gemini season. And I say Gemini season generously. It may not even make it through fucking Taurus season, to be honest with you. That's what I'd be doing if I was you. Communication, man. All right. Let's shift gears here. Let's see what's going on with the current long-term partner. Pisces and the current long-term relationship. So if you're not in a long-term relationship, this is not for you. If you are in a long-term relationship, but the two of you are not experiencing problems, this is not for you. What's happening? What's going on? What's the issue between Pisces and the current long-term partner? Temperance, okay. You're trying to be patient, trying to balance things out. Hang on. Could be a Saggy for some of you. King of Cups reversed, though. Oh, man. Some of y'all are just dealing with too much of an emotional manipulator. An emotional manipulator. You're trying to be patient, okay? Some of you are just pretending to be happy. Could be a Leo for some of you. You're just pretending to be happy. When deep down on the inside, you ain't happy at all. This is turning into just a burden that's weighing you down. And you're putting on a fake smile, trying to make it look like you're happy, and you're not. So, Death card. The connection is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. But you're trying to push through this. Trying to. So on the outside, on the surface, it looks like y'all are pushing through this. To the public and everyone else, it may not look like there's very many problems, if any at all. Right? 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands. On the surface, nobody would probably suspect a thing is going on. But deep, deep, deep down on the inside is a totally different story. Behind closed doors is a totally different story. An ending is being prevented. It's being prevented. But that doesn't really mean that things are actually improving. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, y'all definitely don't make a very good team. Not behind closed doors. Well, let's see how this person feels about you and what their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions are. Current long-term partner. How do they feel about Pisces? Let's use this deck. This is a weird deck. I don't even know how I feel about it. I haven't used it in a few days, though. Current long-term partner. How do they feel about Pisces? What are their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions? Strength card reverse. Could be a Leo for some of you. Well, honestly, this drains the shit out of them, too. Honestly. Drains the fuck out of them. 8 of Pentacles reversed. Sun card reversed. Could be a Leo again for some of you. All right. Well, this person, I don't really think they trust you all that much. They're not happy. This drains the shit out of them, too. I think they're pretty much doing the same damn thing that you're doing. Doing the same thing you're doing. But see, this person, like I said, emotionally immature. For some of you, an emotional manipulator. I think they just don't really want to be alone. Or it has something to do with their image. I think this person's very image conscious. You know, with the 9 of Pentacles in the reverse, that has to do with image. So, I don't know if do you make them look good, or Or, how do I word this? Fucking hate Mercury retrograde, dude. I can never find my words. Either you make them look good, or they're worried that if the relationship came to an end, somehow, some way that would make them look bad. I think they're more concerned with their image than anything. You know, they're ready to walk away from this, but they're afraid it would make them look bad. That makes sense? Okay, they're definitely playing the victim too. Absolutely. Definitely playing the victim. It's all your fault. Of course, that's every fucking manipulator. It's always your fault, you know. All right, well, let's see what signs I have on the table here. Leo, Libra, Virgo. Seems like I had another one here. I guess that's it. Could be anybody, y'all. Those are just energies. Let's, I think we got the outcome there. Like I said, an ending is being prevented. I'm not seeing this coming to an end. Advice. Let's see what advice we got. What's the advice? Advice is for Pisces. Queen of Cups reversed. Five of Cups reversed. Six of Pentacles, King of Swords reversed. Man, this is so unstable, dude. This is so unstable. This is so unstable. Trying to figure out how to bend this to give you a little bit of leverage over the situation. That's my ultimate goal when I give the advice. Because most of the time when I pull an advice spread, it comes with a very clear, direct message. And I do the best that I can to see if I can take it and bend it a little bit to give you just a little bit more leverage and a little bit more freedom of choice to play with the energies in the situation. But a lot of times like this right here, I'm kind of backed into a corner with this. Kind of backed into a corner here, dude. Not really a lot you can do. There's really not. When you're in a situation where you're just kind of pushing through, going through the motions, wearing a fake smile, just trying to hold everything all together while you're fucking falling the fuck apart on the inside, there's not really a whole lot you can do other than get control of your own frequency. That's all you can really do. But see, here's what happens when you do that. Well, first of all, that's challenging. Unless you're a very skilled energy worker, that's hard to do when you're in a relationship because you pretty much have to put your walls up. You pretty much have to. Put your walls up, put this person at an energetic arm's distance and say, your energy has no power over me. Okay? I am not going to allow myself to be overrun by your energy. You do you, boo-boo. Just leave me alone and let me do me. But let's say you figure out how to do that. I know I got some really spiritual people that follow me. So there's a couple of you who could probably figure out how to do that. Well, here's the problem. Here's what happens. You begin making an energetic change. You begin changing frequencies when you do that. And a lot of times that will inspire the person to change frequencies with you. But with all these kings reversed, I'm not 100% convinced that this person would make a frequency change with you. I'm not convinced of it. So it'll eventually end up getting to a point where the two of you couldn't even carry on a fucking conversation. You're such a vibrational mismatch. There's only so much you can do as one person in a relationship. Only so much you can do. And this is a situation right here where, okay, here's the example. Let me use this analogy. Is it possible for a 300-pound man to run a marathon? Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. It absolutely is. Look at fucking David Goggins. That motherfucker was 300 pounds. Now he runs ultra marathons, right? 250 miles at a time, non-stop for days at a time, without stopping, without eating, without sleeping, until his fucking legs are broken. He runs on broken fucking legs. It's possible. But what's the likelihood that a 300-pound man is going to do that much fucking work? It's possible, but it's slim. But I'm taking it a step further, because in a relationship, it's not just a matter of whether or not one person is dedicated enough to do that kind of work. Two people. Both people. Not just one, not just the other. Not just the person who did wrong, not just the person who is the primary catalyst for the majority of the problems. Two people to put forth the work, the dedication, and the consistency, and the effort to train and train and train and train and work and work and work and work to run a marathon together as a team. Silly analogy, but it makes the fucking point. The only thing you can do is train to run that marathon yourself and hope that they follow suit. Because no matter what you do, it's going to come crashing down. If you don't put forth the work, the effort, and the training, it's going to come crashing down. If you do put forth the work, the effort, and the consistency, if they don't do it with you, it's going to come crashing down. Hopefully, they see you and they realize how dumb it's making them look, and they say, damn, I better start evolving with you because you're making me look bad. Hopefully. Take that information and do with it what you will. All right, time to shift gears and look and see what's going on with the person from the past. Past person Pisces dealt with. If you are not here inquiring about somebody you dealt with in the past, this is not for you. What's happening between Pisces and the person from the past in April 2025? What's happening? Damn, dog. The block communication card jumped straight out the gate. So, well, hang on. Hang on. Two more shuffles. 1 and 2. Okay, never mind. I was thinking that this could go somewhere, but no. I'm not seeing communication, y'all. I'm not. I am not. I'm feeling like you're closing out this karmic cycle and moving on from this. Knight of Swords, Eight of Wands, both reversed, no communication. No. You're closing this shit out and you're actually healing from it. Ten of Swords and Ten of Wands, both reversed. And I know I said this to you a lot in the last few months, but you're doing more healing than you know. More healing than you know. Some of y'all don't even realize how much you've been healing from this. But you're closing this out, releasing this karmic tie, and you're moving on from this. And there's blessings waiting for you on the horizon. Because now you've cut the final sandbag on your balloon. Now you're ascending upwards. And unless you let somebody come into your life and tie a new sandbag, man, this year you got blessings waiting on you, boy. But that's way later on down the line. I'm feeling like you're closing this out somehow, some way. And it feels like you're doing it on your own, too. I'm just trying to figure out how. Are you just waking up one day and having the realization? Are you getting that fucking download during a meditation? Or maybe, for example, maybe you end up hearing a rumor down the grapevine about this person. Or maybe you open up social media and see this person's mugshot because they done got locked up for some fucking crime that is just mind-bogglingly unimaginable. And you're like, whoa, that's who the fuck they are? You know what I'm saying? It could be anything, but for some reason you're releasing this. You're releasing this and moving on from it. Let me see how this person feels about you. How's the past person feel about Pisces? What are their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions? Page of Wands. Blue, buddy, blue. Oh, they got their guard up. They're very guarded towards you. Very guarded. Lover's card reversed. Okay, so they don't feel quite the connection that they used to. They do still feel a strong connection with you, but not as much. At the end of the day, for some reason, they don't trust you. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know if you gave them reason to question your loyalty or what, or if they're just projecting. I don't know. But for some reason, they don't really trust you. Not really. Could be a Gemini for some of you. Also have Leo. Dude, the Sun card has been the most fucking popular card for you throughout this whole video. So this person's generally unhappy. Oh, I have Aries and Taurus down here too. Taurus again. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they pretty much got their mind made up. They do want closure. I think they would like to have a closure conversation with you, but they don't trust you for some reason. I don't know. Don't trust you to what? I don't know. Maybe they don't trust you to get closure without trying to play games with them, or they just don't trust you to be honest with them. Maybe they don't trust you not to run off and tell their business to everybody. I don't know. I don't know what it is that they don't trust. I don't know. Like I said, for some of you, they could just be fucking projecting. They are worried that you would do what they would do, you know? Anyway, okay, that's about all I can get out of that. Let's see, does this need advice? That doesn't really feel like it needs a bunch of advice, but let's just throw a few cards on the table just to see if any advice wants to come through. Just to double check and see. Ooh, 10 of Wands. Okay, yeah, now, I think, okay, so do as much of your own healing as you possibly can. As much of your own healing. And what that does not mean just sit around and wait until it stops hurting. That does not mean jump into the quickest, fastest, easiest relationship you can get your hands on to distract yourself from it. This requires actual conscious inner work. We've all learned in elementary school that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only changes form. Well, when it comes to your energy and your healing, there's only one way it's going to change form. And I got news for you. It's not going to happen over time if you sit around and wait. You have to make it change form. It all boils down to the way you choose to perceive the situation. The universe has no choice but to hand you evidence that supports what you believe. You know how in the spiritual community they say that all of the answers are inside of you? You know how they say that shit? All the answers are inside of you. I remember when I was new on my path, that would irritate the shit out of me every time I would hear people say that. And it took me a few years to realize what that meant. What it means when they say all the answers are inside of you is whatever I choose to believe the answer is what the fucking answer is. There is no answer outside of the answer that I choose to believe. Now that is a deep fucking rabbit hole, and I'm not going to dig all that up here in this video. But when it comes to the things that have happened to you in your past, the only meaning that those experiences will ever have is the meaning that you give it. It's the only meaning they will ever have. If you give it a negative meaning, that's exactly what the fucking meaning is. If you give it a positive meaning, that is exactly what the fucking meaning is. If you don't give it a meaning at all, it doesn't fucking have one. Now, this is a process that can take time. I cannot tell you how many times I have broken that down and explained it to somebody. And then they'll come back to me for another reading a month or two later and say, well, I tried assigning that experience a meaning and it didn't work. No. This is not something that you can just flip a switch and do overnight. Maybe every now and then you might be able to do that, you know. I think we've all done it by accident a couple of times, you know, where you get to thinking about something that happened 5 or 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden you have this mind-blowing epiphany where it's like, wait a minute though, I'm actually fucking glad that happened that way. If that didn't happen that way, then this would not have happened this way. Holy shit, man, I'm fucking glad that happened that way. Now I see why that was supposed to happen that way. We've all done that by accident. But you actually have the ability to do that with anything that's ever happened to you in your life. And it takes time and patience. Takes time and patience. Put the intention out there to the universe. All right, universe, dude. I don't know why you made that happen that way, but I'm trusting that you made it happen that way for a reason. I look forward to the day that you show me why you did that. And be patient. Things have to manifest. Things have to unfold. Timelines have to unfold. This thing has to happen here, and that has to lead to this, and this has to lead to that, and then that has to make this thing happen, which makes this thing happen. And then eventually it'll unfold and it'll hit you like a big ton of bricks. Okay? Do as much of your own healing as you possibly can. And when it gets to a point where you've released as much as you possibly can, but you can't release it all, that's when you reach out for closure. That's when. That's when. I've had to do that 6 times in the last 5 years. 6 times. 6 times. Where some people that I've fallen out with on my journey worked on releasing it, you know, and for some reason, I just can't release it all. Man, with everybody else, I was able to transmute it and completely release it. But with you, for some reason, I can't. And I have to reach out and get closure. I've had to do that 6 times in the last 5 years. I just did it about a month ago. About a month ago. Somebody I fell out with 3 years ago. Released as much of it as I possibly could. Couldn't get that last energetic hook out of me, so I had to shoot him a closure message. You're going to have to eventually end up doing that at some point on your spiritual path. At some point. Now, I know that some of you are dealing with a person that it would not be a very good idea to try to contact this person. Okay? Now, that's a whole different ball game. I can think of 1, 2, 3 people off the top of my head that I will never contact because they are not people that can be trusted. They are not fucking people that can be trusted, you know? So use your better judgment when it comes to that. If you think that contacting somebody could lead to more fucking bullshit, you're better off leaving it the way that it is. And then just trusting that the universe will take care of things along the way. That's a totally different, that's an exception to the rule. But yeah, you're on a pretty positive path right now. A very positive path. 2025 is going to be filled with change. Filled with change. So now, right now, let's just put our hands in the air, wait for the rest of these retrogrades to close out, get this last eclipse out of the way, and let's go with the flow and see what the universe has to offer. Okay? All right, y'all. I feel like those were the messages that my Pisces family needed to hear, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, the information for personal readings is right down there in the description. All right? I'm out of here now, y'all. I will see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Stay blessed.